Well, hello! We are going to teach you about the unit circle today. Warning! If wanting to pass math in future years, memorize this circle because it will screw you over if you don't. Just so you know. Okay, so first of all, we are going to look at the unit circle. It is a big circle that is centered around the origin, and that was a crappy circle, but it's okay, with radius of 1. So we know that the coordinates are going to be 1, 0. Up here it's going to be 0, 1. Over here, negative 1, 0. And 0, negative 1. Now, if we draw a section right here, it's going to have angle theta. Theta is the angle measurements that we are most likely going to use whenever we're looking at the unit circle or radians. Okay, so now if we go over, we're going to try to find this coordinate right here. So we're going to draw a triangle with length A and height B. Okay, now if you guys remember, SOHCA, TOA, it's going to be very helpful. So if we're trying to find sine of theta, we know that it is opposite over hypotenuse. We're going to write that. So B over 1, because opposite over hypotenuse. So that's just going to be B. So whenever looking at sine or trying to find a sine measurement, you're going to look at the B coordinate, otherwise known as the Y coordinate. Alright? Now if we're looking at cosine theta, we're going to look at adjacent over hypotenuse. So A over hypotenuse. So A over 1. So whenever we're trying to find the cosine of an angle, we're going to look at the A coordinate, otherwise known as the X coordinate. Alright, now when dealing with the unit circle, we're going to learn something called radians. It is another way of looking, instead of degrees, for the measurement of the circle. So, when looking at the unit circle, instead of looking at this angle, which would be, say, 30 degrees, we are going to try to find the length of this arc right here. So, if we look right here, obviously there's no length, so it's just going to be 0. But if looking at this angle right here, this arc length is going to end up being pi over 2. When looking at all the way over here, what would first seem like 180 degrees is going to actually end up just being pi. It's a lot easier to keep track of radians than it is degrees at some points. If we're trying to find this angle right here, going all the way around, it's going to be 3 pi over 2. And if we want to make a complete rotation and find that degree, it's going to end up being 2 pi. If we have little sections right here, we will find that they have their own. We'll show you that at the final slide. But make sure that when you're trying to do calculations that you know whether they want it in radians answer or degrees, because that will mess you up and you will not get the right answer.
Okay, so now we're going to look at the first quadrant of the unit circle, and we are going to analyze the radian amount of certain angles, specifically the most popular ones you're going to see come up on the unit circle. So we'll do 30 degrees, 45, and 60. So these radian amounts are going to equate to pi over 6, and for 45 degrees it will be pi over 4, and 60 will be pi over 3.
Okay, now in the first quadrant, we have these right here, and we're going to look at the intersection points between the angles and the arc length, because that is what we're going to be using to find sine and cosine of different angles. Now, at 30 degrees, or pi over 6. This is going to be,
I don't know where to put my hand.
so you might have been on the
You
tape.
put it on my head.
Okay.
Like, is that comfortable?
You're fine with it.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, stop talking. Yeah. I paused it, don't worry. I mean, you might have gotten a few words in,
Oh,
but
sorry.
Sorry.
it's okay.
Okay.
Ready?
Is that comfortable?
Anyway.
Okay, great. Great.
And now we have a view of the whole unit circle. And as you can see, the only thing that usually changes with the coordinates is sign change of what quadrant it is in. So it'll go from our x being negative in the second quadrant to both of them being negative in the third, to only the y being negative in the fourth, and all of them are positive in the first. And we can see how it makes a circumference of 2 pi. And this is our unit circle.
Thank you for watching.